Today we're going to be talking about Google Ads, specifically quality score. What is it? What's it made of? How is it affected by campaign architecture? Is it still relevant? Well, quality score is made up of three different components. We're going to go over those in a second. And those components are kind of mid funnel, if you will, in terms of the actual decision making that a user does when they're in your Google Ads campaign. So when they're actually in the keywords and actually about to select it, about to click, or they've actually post-click, that affects all the quality score, right? And there's been a movement to see if it's even still relevant. It is still relevant because we're still doing some strategies previously on how we used to buy. That's a single keyword ad group. A single keyword ad group, SKAG, still relevant? Yes, it is. A lot of people still use it. I use it. It's not terrible. But now there's obviously STAG, which is single theme ad group. And I use that as well. And both, I actually use kind of mixtures of both, to be honest. And it's not necessarily one or the other. Each one has a plus and minus. But it's really, what is the best for your client, right? And is your client set up enough to do that, right? To do either one or the other. Quality score is a factor of the previous edition, single keyword ad group. However, it's a great canary in the coal mine for STAG, which is a single theme ad group. So let's go over what a quality score is first. Then we're going to go over both basic campaign architecture elements. And then we're going to talk about how we can improve our quality score. So the first is, what makes up a quality score? Well, it's your expected click-through rate. And this is the likelihood that your ad will be clicked or shown. Now that's based on historical data. So you're actually being monitored on your account in terms of what keywords you're choosing and how those are performing. That's the expected CTR rate. Again, it's historical data. The next is ad relevance, and that's how closely your ad matches the intent behind the user search. How likely they're going to click on your ad based on those keywords that are shown. So that's why it's so important that you include the keywords into your ads, because it's one-to-one. They search for it, and if they search for automotive, right? Or they search for automotive repair, and automotive repair shop near me comes up. Guess what? It's being clicked on. Same thing with the landing page experience. It's all about the relevancy to your landing page, to your ad. So if it's one-to-one again, right? Automotive repair shop on your landing page, again, you're going to have a very high landing page experience. When you have a compelling expected click-through rate, obviously automotive, car repair, etc., that's your historical data on the account. Then you have a good ad relevancy, which is car repair, automotive shop near me, etc., all that stuff. Between your ads and your keywords, boom, that's a great one. And then your landing page says that all up and down. Guess what? You have a great quality score. And it's based on components of above average, average, and below average. And it's over the course of the last 90 days. That's how the score is factored. And then the quality score affects your ad rank, right? So this is a common question that everybody has. How do I get up higher on the ad rank, etc.? So there's absolute top, or top absolute, and then there's top, and then there's actually bottom, although now it's scrollless. So really you're talking about top / absolute top, and then bottom would be like the endless scrolling. But this is why your quality score has to be so compelling, is this graph right here. So if we could just do a little algebra right now, the higher the quality score, right? So we talk about those three components: the keywords and the ads and the landing page, really. That's really what it is. And then the historical data from the account, or the CTR data. So the expected CTR from your compelling from your compelling keywords that are included within the ads, that's your ad relevancy and your expected CTR, plus the landing page, will make a very compelling quality score compared to your cost per click, which is usually done through smart bidding, right? Let's be honest. Or if you're doing manual bids as well. Who knows how long manual bids will be here. And then that positions your ad rank. This is exactly why, if you ever notice, branded keywords do so well, because they have a very high quality score, right? Say, especially if you have a automotive repair shop that has been around for a while, right? So if it's been around, it's been in the neighborhood for whatever, 5-10 years or so, people are constantly probably searching for it, or they're searching for those keywords with that particular automotive repair shop or restaurant or whatever. So that's why, if you notice, your quality score is so high because it's people are searching for your individual name, right? They have the great ad relevancy, it has a great landing page, it has your name. So that's why your quality score is like a 10 plus, right? Or 10, because from there you're able, the cost per bid is cheap and your ad rank is number one. That's exactly why branded keywords just do so well, right? So it's a great tool to. I love this. I love this formula here: quality score cost times cost per click bid equals ad rank. It's so basic because it really drills down how quality score factors in. Now, I did talk about AI, smart bidding, etc. That is all definitely factored in here, and it's kind of changing the game a little. So, will I think it'll affect it even more? Yes. Do I think you still need to look at quality score? Absolutely. You should be looking at quality score, even if you're using advanced like STAG, or you're using other types of bidding strategy that is more smart bidding, way more broad, etc. You should definitely be looking at quality score because that factors in it's almost like a diagnosis of a doctor, right? So, because if something goes wrong, that should be your next go-to. What's my quality score? Is it in the tank? Is my landing page weak? It's just for some reason my ad relevancy off? Do I need to add negative keywords to the smart bidding, etc.? So that's where, the single theme ad group, where you can definitely make those optimizations, again, through negative keywords. That's a number one way to do it. And let's talk about landing page experience. So this is all done this is one of the 3 pillars. This is done by a real person review and an automatic scoring. So that's how it's done. The ad and keyword relevance make a difference, obviously, because that's what the terms that are shown. Those are the terms that engage, and then go to your site. Boom, you have the trifecta again. The score is really about relevant content. That's why it's so important to have the words that you're looking for, that somebody is doing in search, to have them on your site. It is like mini SEO, so to speak. Also, it's making sure that, most of all, this is really important, guys, because it's not enough just to have a site. It has to look real. It has to can't look spammy. It can't look ghetto. It can't look like a blogger page or something. It has to look real, right? It has to have good, even like reviews, testimonials, etc. This is where a lot of people fall short. Why? Because there's a lot of products that have been flooding the market lately in regards to nutrition, in regards to gyms, in regards to exercise equipment, in regards to even makeup, etc., stuff like that. These products, sometimes they look spammy. The site doesn't look good, right? And it's that's where you may get a ding on your quality scores through your landing page experience. Even though it has the product on the top, if it looks spammy, guess what? You're going to get dinged. You're not going to. So make sure you actually have a quality site that navigates, that scrolls, that has different products. It just doesn't look spammy or like a scam. And then, of course, good navigation, right? It has multiple products, etc. And sometimes there's only 1 or 2 products. I get it. But then if it has 1 or 2 products, you should definitely be filling it up for reviews, testimonials, all sorts of stuff. That gives you more relevancy and more street credit, right? Another thing is making sure it loads quickly. Information is above the fold, not hidden. And controlling your bounce rate. Definitely take a look at your bounce rates. Make sure they're at a decent level. They're not like, if almost everybody's bouncing out, it's probably because it looks like spam or it's a mismatch somehow. So keep that aligned. My greatest hack is like competitors, right? So I sometimes have clients that want to target competitors, and the first thing I say is, well, your quality score will take a ding, right? So what I would say is this: invent a page that has competitive info. So like I think we've all seen these sites where they have you versus a competitor, and that could I'm not sure it could even name the name, but maybe like a different product, etc. Those do pretty good if you're doing competitors, because you can kind of lean into that a little bit more. Because if you're using a direct competitor, right, and they send you to your site, which is completely named something else, your quality score is going to take a ding, right? So, and really even competitive surrounds they're kind of looked on nowadays. But, if you ever want to do that, if that question that comes up, that's a great way. That's a great way to kind of like keep your quality score up if you're targeting a competitor. Expected click-through rate. This is how likely your ads are to get clicked when they're shown for a keyword. It actually doesn't take into account position or anything like that, or match rate. Actually, match rate, all that stuff doesn't. It's usually just considered exact 1-to-1. how this keyword did previously, period. Above average or average means you shouldn't have a problem. Below average, you should definitely be changing out your text. It means there's a mismatch somewhere, that, somehow you're not using those keywords that you're using in your campaign now, and it's just somehow dragging down your score a little. So consider changing ad text that's closely related to your top keywords that are performing well. Also, for expected click-through rate, one thing that should always be they should definitely include are site links and extensions. I mean, that's just a great way to improve your overall CTR. It's good practice, because what site links do is they extend out your ads, so you just have more real estate, more options to choose, right? Higher the CTR, the better the score, right? A lot of people don't like them sometimes, but I'm a big fan of them. I think they're very cool, especially in search campaigns. Ad relevance. Again, this is how closely your keywords are to your ad copy. Best practices: your keywords should always match your ads. Your ads should always match the corresponding landing page. Again, I think you guys see a theme here, right? It's all making sure it's synonymous. When you don't have that, that's when you have problems with your non-brand, right? Especially, it's amazing how much of the landing page. A lot of people think it's just the keywords and the words. It's not the landing page, but the landing page has to have those key terms that you're including, right? If it's too agnostic to it, it's not going to be matched, and your quality score will go down. So you have to kind of make sure those keywords are directing to a portion of the site where it has that. Some people still direct to the homepage all the time. Like, no, that's not it. Especially if it's non-brand and it's a little bit in an agnostic opportunity area that you don't necessarily go after usually. You're going to have to invent or make some special section where you discuss those particular opportunity keywords, right? And then right now we're going to talk about SKAG versus STAG, right? Single keyword ad group, single theme ad group. And then there's something called SPAG that eventually we're going to talk to down the road. SPAG is the product ad group. So what I love about that is that's more for shopping, and that's been gaining a lot of traction over the last couple of years. So I've definitely been investigating that. We're not going to talk about this one just because we don't have the time. I want to kind of keep it to what on task. Otherwise, this video will be too long. Cool. So right now, let's talk about STAG versus SKAG. So single keyword ad group on the left, it deals better with smaller budgets. Budgets where you're kind of just sniping, you're just going after keywords that do well. This is good for a lot of local stuff. Like I said, we have the automotive repair. We have, for a lot of the broader stuff, that's kind of like where you're spending just a little bit heavier, a little bit more national. You're just kind of just trying to optimize. And for single keyed ad group, what makes it different, or what was the biggest, I would like to say, issue is when you were using it, right? And you had to invent all these key ad groups, right? Keyword ad groups. You would have, say you have auto shop. Well, then you have cars, right? And then, wait a minute. Do you do imports only? Do you do foreign? Do you do domestic? Do you do trucks? Do you do 4x4? You see what I'm saying? Just on those cars alone, or even a dealership or whatever, but just on that alone, you see where see how many groups just appeared? Same thing goes for transmission, right? Or same thing goes for engine repair. Well, you have oil change, you have tune-up, you have air conditioning repair service. You see, you just go through the list right there. Now, you're probably not a specialist shop. You're probably more of a general automotive repair, right? But even if you're selling, say if you're selling say if you sell tires too, right? Then you could just you go into that again. You're just is it car tires, truck tires? You see, so automatically it becomes just really heavy in terms of the volume. Then you have to make all the ads, and then you have to make variants on those ads because you need at least 2 or 3 ads per ad group, right? So it just becomes a little neurotic sometimes. However, with these single theme ad group, it's more intent based, right? And you have the opportunity to really just say car repair, right? And then you have truck repair, and you have 4x4 repair. Now, and you do have a little bit of agnostic. It can even be car repair, and then truck repair could be kind of interchange with 4x4, right? It just does do a little bit more in consolidation. Also, too, I kind of don't agree with this because say if you did consolidate it, you're going to need like several. You're still going to need ads for each one of those, segments, right? You're still going to need an ad or ads for your 4x4, your truck, and your car, right? Even if it's domestic and import, or foreign, but you're still going to need those ads because here it just says, oh, you just need one ad group. I don't. That's garbage. Like you still will need that, no matter if you're using STAG or not. So because it's the best practice, because you want, again, think about it. You want your keyword to be one-to-one, right? So when you do that, say if somebody even does use the thematic ad group and they say, well, I have a Peugeot, I have a BMW, and I'm looking for tires for a BMW, right? You want that ad group ready to go that has those keywords already. So it's not as agnostic as you think. It seems you're still going to need those specific ad copies still at the ready, uploaded into the ad group itself. So it's not as easy as it seems, right? It's just, like I said, more intent-based. It's more theme versus syntax. It's also, like I said, the use of smart bidding in AI. And it is the more go-to for TROAS, targeted CPA, etc., right? Because you're trying to let the algorithm drive up that ROAS, right? So it's not as like click focused, it's more intent focused, right? Now, when you say something like that, it's when you're using like the TROAS, etc. You can use TROAS for an automobile shop. Probably not. It's going to be lead gen. It's going to be site visits, etc. Maybe like call to conversion with calls, etc. You're not going to necessarily do those TROAS unless you're, like I said, you're a national brand, you see, or you're buying tires or whatever. So that's when STAG really flexes. So yeah, let's see. Let's go down one. And then optimizations, right? So let's talk how we can optimize. So impression share and volume do matter. Try to always keep these solid when you're scaling or when you're trying to drive optimization. To scale quickly, work with words that have a compelling CTR. 1.5 is their benchmark. I was surprised to see that. Should be definitely. I'm always a big fan of 3 or higher. 2, 3 or higher. I have 1.5. I'm like kind of concerned. Check your speed. Rewrite low CTR ads. You got a low CTR, rewrite it. It's that simple, folks. It's not that hard to rewrite a CTR. Rewrite an ad, especially when AI is involved and it actually provides you the keywords. Like, you should definitely be doing that. And that shouldn't be happening necessarily if you're using top performing keywords. Ensure that your top keywords are in your ads, again, the low CTR, but also use dynamic keyword insertion. So dynamic keyword insertion is that bracketed element when you're actually in the headline and use a bracket keyword and you insert. That's based off your keywords that will be entered. They drop in. So if you're using, like say if we have our foreign and domestic keywords and the keywords, those will pop up. So it'll say like new tires for keyword insertion, right? BMW keyword, new tires for Peugeot, etc. So that's what makes it very cool. And it factors into the score of the excellence or average or whatever at the very top when it rates your keywords. But it's sometimes it's better to hard key it, but I'm a big fan of that. Also, when you're doing this, when you're using dynamic keyword insertion, it's cool, but make sure I cannot say this enough, make sure you're monitoring your negative keywords on top of this. And I've said this in several videos, and I'll say it in this one. I've said it in my Medium articles. Make sure you're pulling the back-end search terms report on what's being targeted on these broader and phrase match keywords, right? Because sometimes it does, especially on the broad stuff. So when you're targeting like automobiles, right, or car repair is very specific. I'm not concerned too much on that. But say if you're doing automobiles, man, that can mean anything, right? So you have to make sure your negative keywords are factored in there. Right? Are you an automotive upholstery shop? Are you a tire shop? Automotive, like what? Right? So you have to really, I would actually segment out what you're not into the negative keywords because you don't want to come up in those. You don't want to waste that CPM on that, let alone the cost per click. Then you want to pull the search term reports to make sure you're not coming up for any bad terms that you don't agree with, right? So again, the search term reports, always check that. If you're using SKAG or STAG, it doesn't matter. Make sure you're doing that. Let's see here. And then keyword insertion, dynamic keyword insertion. Match type is, like I said, not a factor in regards to this. It's always 1-to-1. Always remember that. And then the positions on your expected CTR based on your historical learnings, it doesn't take into account your previous position. So if you're absolute top versus bottom, it won't take that into account at all. So that comes to the end of this discussion. I just want to say, please check me out on Medium. I write a lot of articles on everything from Google Ads location to this topic, quality score, to meta blueprint, to you name it, a lot of PPC content. I'm actually approaching 30 articles. I believe this is the 26th, so definitely check it out. Also, this is actually downloaded into a podcast. I'm on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeart, and then YouTube. So that's very cool, as well as Podbean. That's where I originate. And then, of course, check me out on LinkedIn. If you have any questions on anything, just even anything random, please check me out on LinkedIn. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate this discussion. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else you want to see, or just reach out to me saying, I just want to watch a video on anything else. I'll be more than happy to make it. So thank you for your time. I hope you have a great day.